glad you stopped by for the wacky news of the week. Our first story this week is about, of all things, underwear. In 15th century paintings, women are shown wearing their outerwear, but unlike today's art, their undergarments are never shown. Now, it has long been believed that the bra was first invented in the late 1800s, but archaeologists from the University of Innsbruck, while excavating the Lemberg Castle in Tyrol, Austria, found the missing link in women's underwear. What they discovered were 4 linen bras that resemble the modern-day bra. Hilary Davidson, fashion curator of the London Museum, said one specimen in particular looks like a modern-day brassiere, with distinct cuffs, 2 wide shoulder straps, and a possible back strap. The bras were carbon dated to make sure they were genuine 15th century. Among the 2,700 textile fragments, they also found a linen undergarment that looks like a pair of panties. Now, these obviously had to be a man's, because according to Beatrice Nuts, the archaeologist responsible for the discovery, said women in the 15th century didn't wear anything under their skirts. She said underpants were considered a symbol of male dominance and power. And if you look at some 15th century paintings, you'll often see a man and a woman fighting over a pair of drawers in a symbolic battle to see who wears the pants in the family. I guess that's where that old saying, you know who wears the pants in the family, comes from. For you parents out there, here's how not to help your kids get better grades. In Pennsylvania, 45-year-old Catherine Venustu, while employed as a secretary for the Northwestern Lehigh School District, used the district superintendent's username and password to log into the school's computer system. To change her daughter's failing grade to a medical exception, and for her son, she upped his grade from a 98 to a 99. She said she also used employee passwords to access emails, personal records, and the district's human resource system. She claims it was out of curiosity and boredom. By only changing her kids' grades is how she got caught. She should have helped out some other kids with poor grades. She's been charged with 3 counts of unlawful use of a computer and 3 counts of computer trespass. And now she's out of jail on a $30,000 bail. Here's another bear story for you this week. The other night, around 9 o'clock, a bear ran through the Pittsburgh Mills Mall in Fraser, Pennsylvania, and through the outer automated doors of the Sears store. But the poor animal became trapped in the lobby area between the 2 sets of doors. Pennsylvania wildlife officials were able to tranquilize the bear and take it out. The bear appeared to be about a year and a half old, and it had a tracking collar on it. But the wildlife officials couldn't tell right away where the bear came from. Don't you just love dumb criminals? I know I do. In North Carolina, Rodney Dwayne Valentine was released from jail after serving 2 months for injury to personal property. Now, Rodney, he doesn't have a permanent address, so he stayed around the jail bugging the deputies to take him to a motel. Deputy Kevin Studdard of the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office said, "We can't transport everybody that gets out of jail." After 5 hours of Rodney arguing with the deputies, they got tired of it, and they charged him with second-degree trespassing. Now he has a permanent address for the next 75 days, plus a $500 fine. I guess old Rodney really didn't like his freedom very much. Hey, speaking about dumb criminals. In Deltona, Florida, 2 bright guys, Matthew Pear, 25, and Matthew Simmons, 26, stole from the old office of Summer Smiles Family Dental a $30,000 panoramic dental x-ray machine. The machine was left behind in the old office and was to be moved to Summer Smiles' new office by professional movers. Several weeks after the theft, an associate of the dental office saw the x-ray machine advertised for sale on Craigslist and eBay. The sheriff was notified, and one of his deputies, acting as an interested buyer, called these 2 idiots and set up an appointment to look at the machine. Once there, the deputies verified the serial number of the x-ray machine, and then they arrested the 2 men on the spot. What made these 2 idiots think someone would want to buy a panoramic dental x-ray machine off of Craigslist or eBay anyway? Doesn't make sense to me. Oh well, moving on. We have these 2 nut jobs who learned you don't mess with Granny. In Blenheim, South Carolina, 89-year-old Ruby Hodge heard a knock on her front door a little after 8 a.m. She was on her way to open the door, but before she got out of her bedroom, the two men forced their way through the door. Ruby goes back to her bed and pulls out from under the mattress her late husband's .38 revolver. When the two men get to Ruby's bedroom, there she is. She greets them with a revolver pointing straight at them. Ruby said, "They take off and run." Now, Ruby wears one of those lifeline necklaces, so she pushed the emergency alert button, and the sheriff was there within a few minutes. Fortunately, it turns out, a neighbor saw the men and took down their license plate number. This led to the arrest of Ronnie Henry Stevenson Jr., 31, and Nelson Hawkins, 42. Don't you just love happy endings? Here's a travel tip for you. If you travel to Canada, don't try to bring back into the States a chocolate named Kinder Eggs. Two fellows from Seattle, Washington, Brandon Liu and Christopher Sweeney, they had taken a trip to Canada, and they thought it would be a nice thing to take back to their family and friends, a chocolate treat named Kinder Eggs. When they got back to the Canadian border, they were detained for 2.5 hours after their car was searched and 6 Kinder Eggs were found. They were told that it is illegal to bring the chocolate eggs into the States because they contain a non-nutritive object, which is simply a toy in the center of the chocolate. They were also told that there was a $2,500 fine for each egg. Lou and Sweeney were, however, let go with just a warning. Now, this has got to be the height of stupidity. It happened in Coconut Creek, Florida. O'Neill Ron Morris, a self-made, unlicensed cosmetic surgeon, has been arrested for the death of 31-year-old Sataka Newby. Back in 2007 and 2008, Morris, a transgender woman also known as Duchess, injected into Newby's butt a homemade mixture of tire sealant, mineral oil, cement, and superglue. Now, stop and think about that for a minute. A mixture of tire sealant, mineral oil, cement, and superglue injected into your butt. Newby died in March of this year of chronic lung disease. Her father, Joseph Newby, said he knew Morris had injected his daughter with this strange formula and wondered when he was going to be convicted of anything. He said his daughter was in a lot of pain and couldn't even sit down because of the butt injections. Morris had previously pleaded not guilty to charges of practicing health care without a license and causing serious bodily injury. Another woman treated by Morris with the butt injection, which was given through a tube hooked to a cooler, suffered from pneumonia-like symptoms, infections, and large whelps on her buttocks. My question is this: what sane person would allow a quack to inject into their butt a mixture of tire sealant, mineral oil, cement, and superglue with a tube hooked to a cooler? Think about it. Would you? On to a lighter, greener note. If your grass is dried up and brown from the high temperatures and lack of rain this summer, now you can have your lovely green lawn back. A few years ago, Joe Perezzo launched a lawn painting company in New York, Staten Island, using the same tinting process used to color professional athletic fields. Joe says business has been booming this year. He charges about 15 cents a square foot. That's $150 for a 1,000 square foot lawn. He sprays a plant-based, non-toxic turf dye on the lawns, and he'll even spray dried up trees and shrubs. Joe says if the grass does not come back to life this year, the biodegradable spray can last up until next year's new growth. Or if your grass does recover, the dye will last for 2 or 3 mowings. One of Joe's customers said it's very natural looking, just like new sod. Well, that's it for this week. Be sure and visit our website at www.thejestermagazine.com for our weekly jokes, trivia, riddles, interesting tidbits, and more. And be sure to check back next week for more wacky news.